Now, Google has also had a long history in building platforms that serve as ecosystems. So our view is that platforms that succeed with customers are those that enable ecosystems, where the cloud providers' technology is complemented with leading products that customers and developers want to use. The first such ecosystem is what we're doing in open source. Now, Google has had a long history of developing technology and making it available in open source to foster innovation by developers. But recently, the open source community has found that cloud providers are not partnering with them, but attempting to take away their ability to monetize open source. We as Google do not believe that that is good for customers, for the developer community, or for software innovation. As a result, we have partnered with leading open source companies to deliver open source to our developer community and customers in new ways. We're very pleased today to announce the first integrated open source ecosystem. What this allows you to do as a developer or as a customer is to use the best of breed open source technology. You can procure them using standard Google Cloud credits. You get a single console, a single bill from Google. We support these along with the partners. And as you grow and use these technologies, we share our success with our partners. So we're fostering this new open source community to ensure that open source continues to thrive and has a vehicle to grow in this world. Let's hear now from the chief executive officers of some of our important partners about why this matters so much to the world, to the developer community, and to the ecosystem.
When you change infrastructure, it's very much akin to changing the infrastructure in a city. It's no small undertaking when there's already buildings that exist. That's why we turn to Google Cloud as a partner.
When I talk to customers, the common theme I hear from every customer is they want to be able to innovate more quickly.
But the data landscape is more complicated than it used to be. People need to actually bridge between all these different systems.
All the devices, all the mobile apps, all the things in your world that are generating millions, billions, trillions of transactions.
In the past, that used to be all stored in databases that were great at storing structured data, but really bad at storing how data was related. And as people now start moving workloads from on-premise to the cloud, they have to start thinking about what is the database they want to run those workloads on.
With Google Cloud, you get the advantage of being able to access a tremendous amount of ML, AI capability and other services.
And data centers in many, many, many locations all around the world that enterprises could never afford on their own.
This is all about real-time streams of events and how can you harness all the streams of data they have while they're interacting with the customer.
I started Elasticsearch on my own, and there was no way that a single person will be able to successfully create such a tool with such a level of adoption without open source.
The richness of that ecosystem opens up this whole marketplace of data systems that you can take advantage of.
And the key constituent to do that is the developer, being able to select the technologies that enable them to innovate as quickly as possible.
And that's where Google really has something special to offer. The way they think about this problem set is very builder-developer oriented, which is unique among the major cloud providers.
Enabling the collaboration of the person that produces a software and the person that consumes the software. Whenever you collapse these two together, that's when magic happens.
Putting all these open source companies in one place is a really smart strategy. The customer can go to one place and get best of breed solutions with a unified experience.
This partnership is about this next generation of open source companies building these increasingly smarter systems.
Things that may have seemed insurmountable just a few years ago now become imminently possible.
Google is actually the fastest growing part of our cloud business today, and we think we're just scratching the surface.
The Chief Executive Officer of Redis Labs, Ofer Bengal, is here. Please give him a warm welcome, and he'll tell you more about our partnership and what it means to his company. Ofer?
Hi, Thomas.
Welcome, Ofer. Tell us a little bit about Redis Labs and your partnership with Google Cloud.
Sure. So firstly, thanks for having me. It's a great event. So our partnership goes back to 2014 when we first launched Redis Enterprise, our fully managed Redis service on the Google Cloud. And this partnership has evolved significantly ever since. We always shared with Google the belief that our customers and us can greatly benefit from our investments in the open source community.
What are your thoughts about this strategic initiative we announced today?
Well, this strategic initiative is great for us because, as you know, monetizing open source was always a very big challenge for open source vendors, and more so in the cloud era. Now, Google has taken a very different approach from other cloud vendors when it comes to open source, and I think that this is great news for the open source community. But no wonder, I mean, Google has deep roots in open source for years with investments in projects like TensorFlow, Kubernetes, etc. But I think that today, with this initiative, you took it to the next level.
How do you think this partnership can benefit our joint customers?
So I think that customers can now consume Redis Enterprise, which is our managed service, with the same user experience as they have with other native Google Cloud services. And when I say same user experience, I mean the same style UI, same support, same billing, etc., etc. So now they can select, for certain use cases, native cloud services by Google Cloud, and then for other use cases, they can select best-of-breed, enterprise-grade services by third-party providers like Redis Enterprise. And in the case of Redis, I think that when it comes to certain use cases, users can select Cloud Memory Store, which is the native Redis service by the Google Cloud. And then for more advanced, for more sophisticated use cases, such as active geo distribution for Redis, or Redis as a multi-model database, they can go for Redis Enterprise. I'd like to point out that Redis Enterprise is tightly integrated with some of the cutting-edge technologies of the Google Cloud. So, for example, our active geo distribution leverages the fast global network of the Google Cloud and TrueTime. And our Redis on Flash technology is tightly integrated with NVMe and persistent memory offerings by the Google Cloud. So all in all, I think it's a match made in heaven.
Thank you so much, Ofer. Thank you for your partnership. Thank you for what your company and your developers are doing with us.
Great pleasure.
Thank you very much. If you're trying to imagine how would you as a developer or a customer experience this solution, let me welcome Gopal Ashok from our product organization to come up and show you this in action. Gopal?
Thank you, Thomas. As Thomas mentioned, we want our customers building applications on open source to have choice. The choice of using Google managed open source service or value-added services from our open source partners. Let's take the example of the New York Times. They have an application that requires a highly available Redis instance, but they also have use cases that can benefit from Redis Enterprise features like geo-distributed cache. Wouldn't it be great if New York Times can use both Cloud Memory Store and Redis Enterprise and have a seamless experience between the two? With this announcement, we are enabling just that. So let's take a look at a few of the elements of the experience. Number one, unified support. Google will provide the first line of support for all these services. Number 2, unified billing. You'll get one single bill from Google across all the Google and partner services. And number 3, unified experience. A seamless product experience where you can use the same management tools for both Google and partner services. So let's take a look at the product experience. We are making it very easy for you to discover partner services. As you can see in the Google console, we are listing all the various partner services on the left now, along with the Google services. Let's take a look at Redis Enterprise as an example. Here you see the solutions page where you get all the information about the service. You can enable the API or you can manage it. Let's click on Manage. Here you see the list of all the Redis Enterprise clusters that we have already created. But let's take a look at what the experience looks like when you create a new Redis Enterprise cluster. The creation flow is built directly into the Google Cloud Console. So as a customer, you don't have to go to an external partner portal to provision the service. Over here, you can select Redis Enterprise features like Redis on Flash, select GCP settings like regions and networks. Let's go ahead and add a database to the cluster. If you have applications that require capabilities like search or graph, you can now add Redis Enterprise modules while creating the database. Click Create. You have a Redis Enterprise cluster created directly from the Cloud Console. As you can see, the experience is exactly the same as you would get with other cloud services, Google Cloud services like Cloud SQL or Cloud Memory Store. Provisioning is just a start. You can also manage the Redis Enterprise cluster from the console. Let's take a look at one of the clusters that we already provisioned. Here you see the list of databases that is in the cluster, the status of the database, the properties, etc. But let's double-click into one of the databases. Over here, we give you all the information about the database, but more importantly, you can monitor Redis Enterprise directly from the console. So now you have a unified management plane that allows you to manage and monitor both Google services and partner services. It doesn't end there. If you want advanced monitoring, you can use Stackdriver. Over here, we have created a Stackdriver dashboard that gets metrics directly from the Redis Enterprise database. And lastly, if you have questions about any of these, you can call Google support. That's right, a single point of contact for support. In summary, when you're building applications using open source on GCP, you now have choice. The choice of using Google managed open source services or value-added services from our open source partners delivered to you with a unified support, billing, and product experience. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Gopal. So when you came to Google Cloud Next this morning, you probably never thought you would see the ability to build a workload, run it in your data center, and have that workload be movable to Google Cloud or any other public cloud provider with zero change. Anthos. When you came to Google Cloud this morning, Google Cloud Next, you probably did not expect to see all the innovations we're introducing in infrastructure. The only cloud that allows you to run mission-critical workload like SAP on a virtual environment, which gives you better security, better performance, better reliability, and lower risk. When you came to Google Cloud Next this morning, you probably never thought that you could use the best of breed open source technology as a developer using Google Cloud credits, and that Google would share our success with these partners so that you can continue to innovate using these technologies. These are just 3 examples of great new things we're introducing in Google Cloud. Over the next 2 days, we have a host of other announcements. Tomorrow in the keynote and in many sessions today. Not only will you hear about all the great things that we're introducing and that partners are introducing, we're going to have over 400 customers talking about how they have used Google Cloud to change their business and how they are succeeding in using it as a platform to enable digital transformation. I hope the next 2 days will be a great time for all of you to learn about these technologies and how they can help you transform your organization. We have a lot of sessions today. For those of you who are watching on streaming, please continue to watch because we will continue to broadcast on the streaming network a number of sessions today and tomorrow. Thank you very much, and a warm welcome to our cloud event. Thank you.